on here. Hello, hello. There we go. We had to adjust that microphone. You got 30 minutes in the broadcast. The microphone was not working. We got it on another computer. I got it on my better computer, that's for sure. I had to adjust the microphone to make sure that it was what it's supposed to be. On. Yeah, so this episode is about me finally tricking out another bike. This time it's my old school cruiser. Had a chance to trick it out and turn it into a electric bike from a cruiser, manual cruiser, to a e-bike, electric bike with a 500-watt motor and a 36-volt battery. I got the 36. No, I got the 48-volt battery. Excuse me. Wow. Yeah, I put a 48-volt battery in that bad boy. It was cheaper. It's about the cheapest 36-volt battery, but it was smaller, so it could fit in that compartment. So that's how we rolling with that. It's a 48-volt battery. Now, 36. Normally, I match it up with a 36-volt battery with a 500-watt motor, but not this time. This time, I matched it up with a 48-volt battery. The price was about a little less than that because it's not really in a heavy case. It's stripped down a little bit because they got the on and off switch for it and don't have the part that you plug in that's mounted to anything. It's designed to mount to whatever casing that you want to put it in. So that's how that works. Matter of fact, I might try to see if it fit in this other casing I got. I might just see about that. That's something else to check on in the future. So the updates on bicycles and trailers, because that's what this book's been all about when I started this podcast about 5 years ago. Well, this is the update that I did trick out 2 more bikes this year. So I got another spring bike that I put a 1,000-watt motor on. So I went from 500 to 1,000 watt, and the difference is day and night. That bad boy is fast. It's so fast I got it on the rear wheel, and the 500-watt one I got for the cruiser is on the front wheel, so it's a front wheel drive. You got the front wheel on the electric bike for the cruiser, and the rear wheel for the spring one. I found this spring one out there. Somebody had threw it out. My neighbor did because he was one of the tires off it. And I did some work on his bicycle, got him ready, so that was his way of paying me indirectly. I found it on the throwout around the corner. It was perfect, 26-inch spring bike, just what I was looking for. The right colors, go black with burgundy on it, because I had a car that was burgundy with black vinyl top. That was my first car, 67 Ford. So it matched the same color as my 67 Ford with burgundy, but the car was burgundy with a black vinyl top, and this bike is black with burgundy around it for the trim work. So anyway, it works like that. That's what it reminds me of my first car I had back in 1973 when I first started driving. 67 Ford at 6 years old. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. But anyway, I got 2 bikes going this year. I didn't get the chain-driven one going. I had it hooked up. I just can't get the lock down on that spigot that turns the chain. That one spigot is a single spigot, that turns the chain and it keep on slipping off. It's just a trick to it that I'm just not getting that trick to that. It got past me. But I did give away 3 bikes this year. 2 to my cousins, and then I gave 1 away to another young lady at ECN. So another young man at ECN. And I fixed a bike for a young lady at ECN, so I did a repair. Did 2 bicycle repairs for people in the neighborhood. And I also got a bike that I gave away to my neighbor across the street. I got it from one neighbor, and he thought I was going to give it to the kids next door, but I gave it to one across the street. So that takes me up to give away at least 3 bikes this year with a couple of repairs. So that's my way of giving back to the community. If I take all them bikes in that people give me, I'll have a ton of bikes. I already got over 10 right now. I mean, around 10. My number is not ever to get past 10 bikes. That's the goal. I get up around 10 bikes, then I know I got too many. I know I got to start giving them away. I'm not going to ride them. And the one with I got a 10 speed. I got 2 10 speeds. One I rode this year, I hooked up the chains, I rigged it up, we put a boat in there. So I had a chance to ride around the corner, but I cannot find that locking part for the chain, that master link. That's what I'm going to have to take it to the bike shop and get the master link linked up to that chain. This chain is a little different than other chains because it's an old school 10-speed. Kind of I rode when I was in my 20s, earlier 20s. The other is another 10-speed, but it got a big disc brake in the back. So it makes it look very different than the rest of them with that disc brake in the back. It's like the original disc brake, so I kind of like it for that reason. So 2 10-speeds is as far as I'm going to go. I didn't ride my old school 24-inch bike that I had when I was a kid this year. I missed out on doing that. I'm going to ride around the corner. I did trick that out a little bit and made it a 5-speed. I always wanted to do that. But that was the first bike I started back riding when I was riding bikes. I brought that one back online, and people said, why are you riding that old school bike and not driving this car? That's when I first started riding bikes back in 2013. So it's been up on 10 years almost since I've been riding bikes. This is 2012. It's been 10 years next year. So if I live and see another year, all my bicycle things that I wanted to do with bicycles should be behind me. That's my goal, and all the trailers I said I was going to make for bicycles should be behind me. I did not make a trailer. I rebuilt the trailer. The original trailer I started with, I had to rebuild it. But I'm not finished rebuilding it because the wheels broke down, so I'm just going to take them original wheels off, put some new wheels on it, and give it a complete rebuild. The only thing that's left on it from the original design would be the arm. Then you hook the trailer up to the bike. So that I'm going to do next year, and I'm definitely going to do this other one that's outside. I already got the framework for it. I got the bolts. I'm going to bring it in the house and do it. It's November now, it got cold, so I'm going to bring it in the house and do it. That's how much determined I'm going to make sure I get that one, at least the framework done. So I can have at least them 1, 2, 3 going. I always got the other one going with the framework, but I never hooked up to the bike. That's a little small one I got with you got the ball and catch to it. But I can't hook it up to the bike. I always put my battery to the back of the bike. And that's what the problem is. I always have a bag towards the back or a rack. So that throws it off because that hookup has to be on that mount where the seat is at. Where the seat is placed is at that where the mount's at. For that ball and that catch. So it does work. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm going to try it on my manual bike. Put it on there just to ride it around the corner. I got everything hooked up on that. I did the framework for it, and I got the part that I took off the gate, and I made that the part that's going to hook up to the back of the seat. And I'm going to have a picture of that next time I talk about it. I'm going to ride that. I'm going to take that at least around the corner one time. I got everything hooked up, but I just didn't take it to the finish line. So that seemed to be my MO. I get all the way to the finish line, where all I got to do, all the rough work is done. All I have to do the finish work, and it seems like that's where I get stuck at, getting to that finish line. Almost to the finish line, but not quite there. Just one step or two from getting it to the finish line. So that's my goal, is to get everything to the finish line. Got the other framework done for the other bike, not to the finish line yet. Just put a couple more parts on there, put some wheels on there, and I'm at the finish line. I have to put an arm on there. But I'm at the finish line. So it's my responsibility to get to that finish line. This is 2020. So I got 2 bikes. I'm going to frame some bicycle trailers I'm going to bring in the house and then do in the house in the wintertime. I'm going to make sure the springtime they be ready to roll. No excuse. That way I can get that trailer for the dog cage going too, even though my dog ain't going to ride in because she don't like it. But at least I can profile with it. And that's what it's all about. Putting it on the mountain, just profile. Because that was supposed to be part of the cells. I thought that would bring in the most of the cells. Not the working trailers I made. I still got the 2 working trailers. I got them both up this year. I finally got that second arm for the second trailer. And I think I need to buy the 3rd wheel to make it work now. I rigged me up a nigga rigged me one up a 3rd wheel. It does work, but it just makes a lot of noise. It's a rattler. It rattles and makes a lot of noise. But it does work. It got that trailer up off the ground. And it supports some weight now. But I'm going to buy me another 2 3rd wheels for both of them trailers and see what happens. So that's the update on what's happening with the bicycles. I'm up to 1, 2, 3, 4 electric bikes for the winter. So hopefully I won't have to buy no parts or no repair parts, such as motors, electric motors, or batteries for the winter. And so I know that in the wintertime, the batteries don't hold that charge as long as it does in the warmer months in the summertime and springtime, the warmer days in the fall. Wintertime, you get a little shorter run with the battery because the cold weather drains the battery quicker than it does when you have hot weather. So that's the updates on the bicycles. Hopefully, like I said, next time I talk about the bicycles, I will be having them 2 trellis complete. The original trellis rebuilt, and the trellis I got in the back is sitting there for a couple of years. The long gauge trellis, a long trellis, they can haul longer materials. I have that up and running next year. And then also having that chain for that 10-speed. I'm going to get that next year because, like I said, I don't really need to ride no 10-speed in the wintertime. And I'm going to ride all my bikes next year. That's my plan. No bikes will be left behind. Everyone's going to get ridden. I don't care if I just ride around to the park. Everyone will get ridden this year. That's my plan for 2021. Now, 2023, this is 2022. 2023. So if I live and see another year, that is my plan. I got it recorded. And then, like I said, new recordings, I started to add on the tours to the recordings with this podcast. But I gave the tours its own podcast so that other people can be talking on it. So it won't just be me. So that's a whole other podcast in itself. Neighborhood Tours Detroit. It's the name of it is going to be on another format. Another format altogether. Anyway, that's how that's going to work. You can catch it on Spotify. That's one I'm going to pop. That's one I'm going to put it on. I'm using Anchor to do the broadcast, but I'm going to broadcast it on Spotify. So I'm using Anchor to do the podcast, but I'm going to distribute it on Spotify first before I even bring it over here. I don't think I will. I think it's a conflict of interest. I think I need to have 2. But I'm doing 2 different things. So that's what's going on for 20. This is November of 2021. Isn't that something? November of 2021. No, 2022, I'm sorry, 2022, because it's been 10 years since my mother passed away. And the year after my mother passed away, in 2013, that's when I picked up on riding bicycles again. So next year will be my 10th year of riding bicycles. I picked up my old school bike I had when I was a little boy, my 24-inch bicycle named Spider. My parents bought for me back when I was a little boy. They got it from Montgomery Wards. Right down here on Gratiot and 7 Mile. I do believe that's the one was in our neighborhood. I was so happy to get it. I wanted to have the other one that had the gears on it, 5-speed, but this one just came with one spigot on it and a brake. I wanted the one with the gears on it, with the brakes, with the handle brakes, instead of foot braking, but you brake by your hand, the hand brakes. And my neighbor Emmett had that bike. He had the one I wanted. It was a 26, mine was a 24. We talked about that before he died a few years ago, about them bikes. And about me making that. We did get a chance to talk about that long trip we made out to Metro Beach, and I got left behind. I hate that I didn't bring that up to him before he passed away. But you're always going to have regrets in life when you're going to get a chance to finish a conversation or bring something up with somebody that you grown up with. As you get older, I noticed that. But any old way, anyhow, I'm going to learn me a new word to say adios, and it's not going to be in Spanish. It's going to be an African word. Haven't learned it yet. But hopefully by the next podcast, I will have learned that word, how to say it. Goodbye in the African language. I don't know if it's going to be Swahili or another language that my DNA takes me back to. So I'm going back to my roots for that. So it's been about almost 15 minutes now. So that's the end of this broadcast. I'm going to ring that bell and know that it's coming to an end. And it's time for me to say adios, amigos, for the last time. Adios, amigos, for the last time. Later, Gator.